The winner of this will walk away with 80,000 euros.
Whoa, and it all comes down to a couple of games of speed, quick, entertaining, crazy chess. Duda has the white pieces and they start off with e4, e5. Let's remind everyone, they play 2 games. If it's a draw after that, they go to Armageddon. And it's all come down, all the heats, all that blood, sweat and tears to this final between these 2 gladiators. And they start off, Jovanka, with a pretty standard, what we say is a Ruy Lopez, named after a Spanish priest, actually, who came up with this idea a number of years ago in 1634. And
well remembered, Simon.
Yeah, or bluffing. You can Google that and tell me if I'm right. I'm not sure if I was, but I try to sneak that one in there anyway. And here, Jan-Krzysztof keeps the queens on the board. It looks like he's still in his opening preparation, just with the speed he's playing, as is So.
Yeah.
So is playing very quickly as well.
Yeah, both players very much in preparation, and we saw Jan-Krzysztof just developing his knight at tempo. And here's the first moment for Wesley to think, where is he going to put the light squared bishop? That is the question.
Yes, and he puts it on a sensible square, pointing towards the center of the board, pointing towards a white pawn, so pressurizing that one. And Jan-Krzysztof can now consider moving his knight towards the king side. That would be the standard maneuver in this opening, the Ruy Lopez, and he does. This is the kind of thing you need to learn when you're getting better at chess. You don't just memorize the opening moves, you know the patterns. Why are you moving the piece there? What's it trying to do? Where are you going? What is your opponent trying to do? All the whys. If you want to get better at chess, you want to play like these guys, well, good luck, but you have to get used to those whys. And Wesley is bringing his knight to the other side of the board to counter that idea.
Yeah, he wants to lock out that light square bishop from the game, because at the minute is a bit of a monster zooming down on the f7 square. So I like this strategy. The knight is getting ready to move to the c5 square.
Yeah, that knight, I mean, one of White's most powerful bishop pieces is his bishop, his light square bishop, and Wesley is going to try to capture that bishop, probably with his next move. But saying that, I mean, again, the evaluation bar on the right-hand side, it's given a 1.2 lead. What that means is it thinks White is effectively over one pawn up, which is a massive lead. And his pieces do look very good. There could be a big kingside attack coming against Wesley's king. That knight could go forwards again. The white queen could come in. The bishops can attack. The rook can come around. So Wesley, he moves his rook over. That rook is doing that swinging maneuver again.
But this time not to attack, but to defend the black king. Because you're right there, Simon. The knight is going to jump in, and it has many pieces to back it up. So now Duda thinking. And, well, when it comes to clock times, both sides evenly match. And, yep, that knight appears on the golden square.
And the knight comes in, and Wesley trying to get rid of Duda's light square bishop, the bishop on the light square, which is pointing at black's king. But White's knight is so strong there. It was Garry Kasparov who said the knight on this square on f5 is worth at least a 1 pawn point, maybe even more. He said this was a perfect square for the knight, one of the greatest world champions of all time, Garry Kasparov. If you hadn't heard of him, come on, what have you been doing? Get the Googleizer out and Google the great man. So the bishop just moves, attacking black's rook there, and here it does. It swings over like a pendulum, coming across the board, and now Duda playing on the queen side as well.
Yeah, it really just goes to show how much full body
maneuvers. Wow.
Full board vision Jan-Krzysztof has, just keeping Wesley on his toes. And I'm really liking this position for Duda, and Wesley trying to unravel, trying to solidify his pieces.
Watch that H-pawn go.
Yeah.
Watch the H-pawn. Yeah, there it goes. I'm predicting some moves today, and that little pawn move is such a good idea. One more square up the board, it attacks black's rook, and even though it's a little guy, the little guys can still attack Jovanka. They are the soul of chess, the pawns. I think it was Philidor who said that the pawns are the soul of the position.
And well, talking about the soul of the position, this one is just there to attack. It wants to lift up all the way up to the h6 square. And Wesley having to retreat the bishop.
Oh, I don't like what he's doing here.
I don't like this. Come on, one more square.
Wesley's just wasted 2 tempo. Timing is so important, Jovanka, in chess, and when you're getting attacked, you don't have time to waste time. You have to play with more urgency, and this is looking really bad, and the rooks had to run away. And now the black king is ripe. It's ripe to be attacked here. I think a queen coming in. Yeah, very simple move there. The queen is threatening checkmate here. If white gets another move, the queen comes in and it checkmates the black king there.
The only move to defend is actually this pawn move, because otherwise the knight was going to check on the edge of the board and just pick up material. But this is ugly defense from Wesley. He's just weakening the dark squares. And the question for Duda is, how is he going to proceed? Is he going to just spring in with the bishop?
Really good moves, aren't there here?
Yeah, there you go.
And another piece comes in, attacking the rook, and his last rook can come in. Do you think at this point, Jan-Krzysztof is seeing those money? Is he seeing those euro notes? Is he counting them?
Checkmates.
And he's got all those euros coming his way, and gonna be drinking some cocktails tonight. And he's got to still finish this game though. So I love this move. Actually, the black rook, which with white's last move, white is interposing rook versus rook, and that is actually one of black's only defenders, because it defends horizontally, laterally across the board. So Jan-Krzysztof is saying, I'm going to get rid of one of your defenders, then your king will be even more exposed.
Right. If that rook just removes itself from that line, white has a massive threat of just capturing the pawn on g6 and then even taking it with the queen.
Oh, and I think he can pretty much do this now. Rook takes rook, pawn takes pawn. Looks like checkmate to me. I can't see any defense against this. I think Jan-Krzysztof just goes rook takes rook. And next move, if Wesley takes back, he had to give up his rook there. Wesley in a world of pain, but this is still winning the black, and he resigns.
And the clock is down to 0. The games are on.
And Wesley playing a bit of an unorthodox mood there, bringing his bishop out. And this opening has been quite the rage recently. Actually, Nordibek has played this with the white pieces. And this is not the main reply that Jan-Krzysztof does here. I expect Wesley has prepared for this kind of position quite intensively. He's one of the best prepared opponents out there. But I really like this last move from Jan-Krzysztof. He's trying to swap his knight for white's bishop, because that bishop, we saw it in the last game. It was such a great attacker, even though they're both worth 3 points each. Taking that bishop off the board seems like a good thing for black to do.
It's a very classical response as well to this type of system, because like you say, that bishop is the best attacker, and the reasoning was many years ago that if you just remove that bishop, there would be no white attack. But obviously times and attitudes have changed since then, but it's still a very valid response to this system.
And both sides developing quite sensibly. This kind of reminds me a little bit, though, of the game Nordibek versus Duda from yesterday, where white didn't get enough activity. So can Wesley create something here? So he has these double pawns in front of each other, but the queen is on that half open line. So white has a little bit more space. Black has the 2 bishops, though, Jovanka, and the 2 bishops can be very useful.
Yeah, they certainly can, especially when the position opens up. And Wesley now has to find a plan of attack. Is his idea just simply to play it positionally and just base it around the strong knight that can appear in the middle of the board? And there we see Wesley just solidify, just harmonize those pawns there on the left side of the board. Or is he actually going to slide the king to the corner and then try to open up some lines? And Wesley just taking a calm approach for now. Tension still very much remains in the position.
At some point, though, Wesley's going to have to make an aggressive lunge. I like this move. He's getting ready for his pawn in front of the rook to come forwards 2 squares, because in order to win at chess, it's best generally to open up lines, to open the position up, because then your pieces can flow. The problem is, when you open up the dam, your opponent's pieces can also flow down the river as well. So will he lunge forwards with the pawn now, or play another move to prepare that idea?
Yep, that is the question. And Wesley, he's been taking notes on how Duda played, and now he's getting ready to perhaps move the knight to the beautiful square on f5.
And Duda just centralizing his bishop. It's pinning the white knight. A pin is where a piece can't move because you lose a more powerful piece. And so far, Duda is keeping his cool. He looks so relaxed. And the heart rate's here as well. Wesley is actually a lot lower than he normally is. He seems pretty chilled out at the moment. And Duda's just calm, isn't he? He's a calm customer. And more developing. Get your pieces into the game. Wesley gets his rook to a better square. And now an exchange there. More exchanges, the more near a draw you get.
Yeah, and an interesting exchange there from Duda. He basically conceded all the dark squares to Wesley. Now, big thing for Wesley now, is he gonna actually push that pawn in front of the rook and just explode open the dark squares? That's what I would be tempted to do. But Wesley, first of all, takes care of the action on the left side of the board. And now, Duda attacking the queen. Wesley has to step back with that queen.
Yeah, I like your idea there, Jovanka. What you got to do with the bishops, they are like shotguns, cannons. They're long-range pieces. They're long-range attackers. And here it comes. There you go. Jovanka, just take over the match. I want to see you there next Armageddon, playing away. Actually, I want you to stay here, really. Don't go. Don't leave me. And the rook now comes in, and this is still an equal position, but look at White's bishop now. The white bishop has opened up the gateway towards Black's king. Black, therefore, trying to close the gateway a little bit more. I expect White to put his rook over now and get ready to... Here it comes. The rook comes over. Get ready to maybe see a sacrifice. White might even give his bishop up for that pawn at some point.
Exactly. I'm just thinking he could even, at the right circumstance, even give up his rook. But whatever's happening, Wesley has got his eyes on that f6 pawn, and he will be looking at ways to crack open the right side of the board.
But what a move there from Jan-Krzysztof. He understands where his pieces should go. The black knight looked quite good where it was, but where is the knight best placed? In the center of the board. And that black knight is getting ready to go plonkety plonk, plonk, plonk into the center and block the bishop. Can you do a little plonkety plonk for me, Jovanka, please?
I was so impressed. I'm so surprised by your little sound effect there that I was going to ask you to repeat yourself.
Only after you, Jovanka, please. When a good move comes, I want to hear a Jovanka plonkety plonk.
Okay, all right. Well, it's going to come there, and there we go. The knight does go plonkety plonk.
Plonk, plonk.
Plonk, plonk.
And that black knight is so good because it does really block up White's bishop. And at the moment, this is another quality move, because now the queens might be coming off. And when the queens come off, White's going to be losing a lot of his attacking chances. It's going so well for Jan-Krzysztof at the moment.
It's a different type of game, like you say there, Simon. Once it reaches the end game, it's going to be all about pawn structures, all going to be about pieces, who can generate a passed pawn. And one thing, it will be Black who is better in that endgame, because take a look at that lonesome white pawn in the middle. It is weak, it is a target, and well, the queens get snaffled off the board as quickly as you can say.
Plonkety plonk.
Okay,
and I love the word snaffled as well. Where did that come from? That's a great word. I love it.
Sesame Street, probably.
Does it even exist? Snaffled. I love it though. And they're both manoeuvring now, but as Jovanka very cleverly said, it is only Black who can be better here, because Black's pawns are all kind of in unison. They're defending each other, but White has this lonesome pawn in the middle of the board. And now Duda moving his knight in, and he's trying to exchange off knights, getting to an opposite colour bishop position, and also rerouting that. That has been a star piece the black knight, hasn't it?
Hesitation there from Wesley. And well, also just to mention the clock times, Wesley now less than 20 seconds on the clock, and he is defending an inferior endgame.
He is indeed, and now black getting ready to double up the rooks on that open line, because if he can do that, that white pawn, that everything is lining up against white's little pawn there.
7 seconds there for
He can't
Wesley.
defend the pawn now.
No, the pawn is going to drop off.
Oh, it's the only way to try and defend.
But I mean, it's very difficult to actually play for a win when your pieces are tied up in the defense of this pawn.
Do you know what I'd like to see, Ivanka? If Jan-Krzysztof wins this, I want to see the kind of celebration you see in football. Shirt off, running around, all the fans going crazy. Are we going to see that?
I hope so, Simon. And Wesley in trouble, and Jan-Krzysztof makes a bid to lock down the position. But this does give Wesley some hope. His bishop now has a powerful diagonal. No, it's been traded off.
Yeah, this has got a little bit better for Wesley because he's got rid of that powerful black knight here. But look at the clock. He's playing with seconds on the clock. Jan-Krzysztof, though, getting down to under 15 seconds. Of course, this could turn. It is, after all, blitz chess. It is speed chess. It's easy to make mistakes. And now it gets really random. They're both under 10 seconds. Move, Wesley, move.
And Duda also needing to move quickly, both under 10 seconds. And Wesley just neutralizing that rook. And which way is he going to capture? He's going to capture
do it quickly.
The rook.
Oh,
So he does. He did that with 1 second.
You've got to move quicker than that, Wesley. You've got some chances here. Your knight is a good piece. I actually prefer White's position now because his knight is dominating. And I think Duda...
Duda, 2 seconds on the clock. And if Wesley can just rearrange the knight so that the knight is on the square, the rook is standing, then he will be in excellent position.
And there is a check there. They are dancing around a little bit. How does Wesley break? You can see the tension in his arm there, and he's just trying to find a way to improve the position. It's not easy. Duda is saying, I have a blockade. You will not pass. That's what he's going for here. The old Gandalf technique.
Yeah, and Duda now 4 seconds on the clock. And Wesley moving the knight, offering a trade of rooks. But that is not a trade that Duda should be going for. And now the knight can just jump into that square.
But the king comes forward saying, oh no, that did not look like the right way for the knight to go. And he resigns, and we have a winner.